Hello and welcome back to the Green Dragon channel. A couple days ago, a lovely YouTuber by the name of Momo O'Brien posted a video detailing her latest exploits at a LARP or live action roleplay event called Dragon Thrones. I've talked about LARP a little bit before. Momo O'Brien is an excellent resource for those of you who are interested. She's really funny, quirky, has really good editing skills, and her videos are very pleasant to look at. She actually knows what she's doing, which is awesome. At the end of this video, she explained that the next LARP that she's going to is in 2 months. It is called Armistice Arcane, I think, and it's in New Orleans, set in Victorian-era America. And she said that she does not have time to come up with a costume design or make it herself. So I thought that it would be a fun exercise, since I did study as a costume designer for 5 years. I thought it would be really fun to design a costume for her and make a video about it. So yeah, this is my process on how to design a costume. Momo begins discussing the new LARP that she's going to near the end of her video. She's going to be going to New Orleans to play a Victorian game loosely based on the show Penny Dreadful. She includes a very helpful screenshot of her character bio for the LARP. Her name is going to be Jenny Glover, described as super nice, and she can't remember anything before her 15th birthday. She suspects that she might be a changeling. Strange things kept happening around her growing up. Milk curdling, the flower garden wilting. Once people parted with her, for instance, boyfriends, previous lovers, bad things happened to them once they left her, and so she has a very difficult time connecting with people, and she's very careful to stay apart. I realized I need to do a lot of research on not only Victorian fashion and the world of the game, but the mythology of changelings. This is a very important point for her character, the concept of what am I and the angst that will come with it. She's super sweet, but she's going to have an angsty dark side. Here she begins talking about her difficulty coming up with a costume for her character, and she has a little screenshot of the Armistice Arcane Pinterest board, which is the name of the game. I'm making some notes on the kinds of things they have pinned on there. You'll see me look it up later in the video. I'm taking notes on the dressage and hairstyles and other little tidbits. She sources Mary Poppins and the character Evangeline from the movie Nanny McPhee as inspirations. She also talks about her love of pastels and soft floral patterns. I also decide that a shorter skirt might be a good idea. I decide to look for Momo's Pinterest and try to find her Armistice Arcane Pinterest board. First of all, it takes me forever to find. I then discover that she does not have an Armistice Arcane board, and that the one that she had shown in her video was the official game Pinterest board, and that the notes I had taken on it already were pretty much all I needed. Frustrating. So, on to the next thing, changeling research. I decided to look at the Wikipedia article, because I'm lazy and because it often has excellent information. The basic definition of a changeling is a fairy baby that is switched with a human child. Reasons for this could be because the fairies, trolls in some cases, wanted to acquire a human servant. Sometimes they fell in love with the human child and they wanted it for their own, and sometimes they just did it to be mean. Interestingly, trolls were thought to hold the belief that a human upbringing was more respectable for their children, and they just wanted the best for them. Beauty in human children and young women were said to attract the fairies, especially blondes, which Momo is currently, which is an interesting point. The article then details different beliefs around the world. In Scotland, human children, might be replacements to the tithe to hell.
Possibly human milk was necessary for fairy children to survive. Human mother could be taken in this case and switched. Human midwives might have been necessary to birth fairy babies. Some changelings forget that they are changelings and live with humans forever, which could explain why she can't remember anything before her 15th birthday. Others go back, and the human child may stay with the fairies forever. Another interesting point from different places in the world is that changeling children, or children who were believed to be changelings, were often severely abused. A very important point if that is the case with this character. After doing all that research, it is time to look up the world of the game. The game is set in 1897, and I'm mostly looking for parallels between Jenny's character bio and the world of the game as found on the website. There are two things that I found most in common. A group called the Eclipsed is mentioned, which Jenny is a part of. They have taken her under her wing, and they are defined as mundanes, or normal people who have had brushes with the supernatural. It makes sense why they would protect her from a group called the Sentinels, who are a people who attempt to hunt down things of the supernatural nature, and they are thought to have originated from supernatural hunters among the Pilgrims, and have been around in America for a long time. I then go back to Pinterest and look up some Victorian fashion just to make a couple notes on basic outlines, hats, accessories, that kind of thing to get an idea of what I might want to do. And I now have an enormous amount of notes on my favorite giant sketch pad. I am now going to go to my own personal library of costume books and see what I might have in my own resources, not on the internet. I grab two of my historic costume books, a book that I have called Victorian Scrapbook that just has a bunch of images, knickknacks from the Victorian period, and I also find a book of world mythology just in case I missed something, and deal with my warring pets because they fight a lot. They really love each other, I promise. I settle in, grab a glass of wine, put on an episode of Critical Role, and I start browsing through my books. Now, this is a part that everybody does a little differently in the costume world. Some people make mood boards, and you can kind of pick any kind of image that inspires you. Of course, I'm looking for some historically accurate pieces, but I'm also looking for little things like a flower that has amazing color gradation in it that I might want to put in my design. I don't know, a picture of a teddy bear that reminds me of this character, Jenny. Glover. I said that weird. Sorry. My fault. Did I mention have some wine and watch some Critical Role? Because you might be here a while. I like to use Post-its to mark where I am in my books. I also use the internet quite frequently, but because I happen to have these books on hand, I'm using them as much as possible. If I don't have these resources, usually I just spend hours and hours and hours on Google image search, just looking at stuff, putting them on a Google Doc, printing them out, all that good stuff. But again, everyone does this a little differently. Here are some images that I picked out to help inspire my design. Again, not all of these are costumes, just pieces that I enjoy. Between my notes, all of these images, and all the information I have gained about the period, about the game, and about the mythology of changelings, it is time to start sketching, which I will do in part 2 of this tiny little video series.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Please be sure to follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/greenfielddragon1d, Twitter at greenfielddragon, again 1D, or visit my website www.greenfielddragon.com, again 1D. And please subscribe to my channel. Give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye!